A federal appeals court heard oral arguments on whether a new Texas immigration law is at odds with the role of the federal government. The law, also known as Senate Bill 4, would allow state police to arrest suspected illegal border crossers. It's currently on hold while judges weigh its legality, and Fox 4's Blake Hansen followed today's hearing. Blake.
Yeah, Steve, last month this law went through legal whiplash, briefly going into effect before being put back on ice. This was a more substantive hearing today on the legality of the law long term, but even it may have just been a precursor to a Supreme Court case. With Texas's new immigration law on hold over concerns about its legality, a panel of 3 judges on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans heard arguments on the merits of the law. At the heart of the court battle, whether state and local law enforcement can arrest people accused of entering the country illegally, when immigration has long fallen under the federal government's purview.
What Texas has done here is they have looked at the Supreme Court's precedent, and they have tried to develop a statute that goes up to the line of Supreme Court precedent, but allows Texas to protect the border. Now, to be fair, maybe Texas went too far, and that's the question this court's going to have to decide.
A healthy part of the debate focused on part of the law that addresses removing someone suspected of being in Texas illegally. The state insisted it would not be deporting people, simply taking them to a port of entry and letting the federal government act next. Federal lawyers argued that's not what the law says.
I'd like to start with counsel's effort to rewrite Texas SB 4 from the podium with regard to the removal provision, and I have a few responses to that.
The same panel of judges already decided 2-1 last month to keep the law on hold for now. Constitutional law attorney David Cole, who's not involved in the case, notes the removal part of the law might be more likely to conflict with the federal government's job.
The parts of it that involve taking people in and out of the country are about as core immigration federal as you can imagine. I mean, that ties into conduct of foreign policy, it ties into treaties, it ties into national defense, and that pretty much has to be the core of whatever it means to have a federal immigration policy. But the farther away from that you start moving, well, the argument gets a little bit weaker.
Texas's Solicitor General pointed out parts of the law could remain even if the court strikes other aspects down.
That just saying the same thing over and over again was going to get the exact same opinion he got 2 weeks ago, a 2-1 majority against him. Back up a little bit, refocus, and try to get out of there with something that Texas can begin enforcing while it considers going to the Supreme Court on whatever else may not be enforceable.
It is not clear when the judges might rule. Cole says it could be a couple weeks, month, perhaps even longer. Many believe, though, that this will eventually be the Supreme Court who has the final say on the law.